Growing up, I had both my parents in the home, my mom and my dad. And like I said, from the outside looking in, we looked great. We looked awesome. We looked put together. But what a lot of people didn't know was I lived in a home that I had a parent that was addicted to pills. And a lot of you have experienced that. A lot of you have experienced with taking pills yourself. And my whole entire life, I did not understand what was happening. I lived a life that I thought was normal. I was kind of protected and sheltered from the fact that my mother was a drug addict. And as I grew up, and I got in my middle school years, I started spending the night with my friends. My best friend Daniel lived right down the road, so I was always over there. I'd go spend the night with him. We would hang out, we'd go to ball games together, we'd do all this stuff. And I began to realize his mom prayed for him. His mom made him do his homework. His mom cooked dinner and made sure he had what he needed. And I was just kind of left. My dad was a great dad. He worked all the time because he had to support us because, of course, my mom wouldn't. And, I got what I could get and I learned what I could from him. But there's something about a mother's love that you need. And if you don't have it, you're always looking for it. You're looking for it in some other place. You're looking for it in relationships. You're looking for it. It may be drugs. It may be alcohol. And on the outside at school, I was labeled a Christian. I was the guy. I wore I Love Jesus shirts. I did all kinds of stuff. I was an athlete. I had a lot of friends, but I always got ridiculed for being a Christian. But what they didn't know is I had my own struggles behind closed doors. I just wasn't out in the open, maybe getting drunk on Friday nights. But I had things I struggled with on the inside by myself. Behind the closed doors, I was involved in church. I always went to church. My two passions were sports and church. I loved them with all my heart. But I still, on the inside, I had a secret life that I was hiding away from people. I didn't want them to see that because I wanted them to see me as a Christian. And I had to come to the realization that Jesus had called me to be more than a Christian at school and at church. He wanted me to be a Christian where I was at in my room. When I had the door closed, when nobody was around, he wanted me to live for him. So when I got to high school, my senior year, I got a scholarship to play football in college. I was excited. I was pumped up. And that summer, my mother left a suicide letter and tried to overdose. And I said to myself, how could you be so selfish? I'm about to start the biggest chapter, one of my biggest dreams in my life, and you're going to do something like this and try to ruin it all? And I could not understand why. My whole family was Christians. From my grandparents to my uncle is Pastor Eddie. And my whole life, we knew God. We knew what church is. We knew what the relationship with Jesus was. But she had this addiction. She had this problem that controlled her. She didn't mean to become a drug addict. She had some surgery on her back. They gave her some medicine, and she took a little bit. And then she said, well, that's not enough. I need some more. That's not enough. I need some more. And it just kept growing and growing. And at night, she would take, and when I was a kid, she would take handfuls of pills and just swallow them. And I was like, that's a lot of medicine. But I was a kid. I had no idea what was happening. Until I got to high school and realized, I said, something's got to change. So we sent her to rehab. She came in and out. She wrote me letters from rehab, how this was hell on her and this was prison and they treated her bad. And in my head, I was like, but it's for me. If for no other reason, do it for me. Because I need you. And there was times where I struggled with that, and I had a decision. I could either get bitter, or I could get better.
Bless him.
I chose better. Because when you've got that void in your life, nothing's going to fill it but Jesus. Nothing is going to fill it but Jesus. And he came down and he met me. And he said, I'm going to change your life from this day forward. And ever since that moment, I gave it to God and I said, God, I cannot fix my mom. I can't fix the situation that I'm in. I'm going to have you. And so I went to college. I ended up taking a job at a church, got on staff at a church. And through all that, in the midst of that, I got married to my beautiful wife. And I had one of the last conversations I had with my mom. I said, Mom, I'm married now. And I said, I need you to be a mom in my life. If you're not going to do that, I'm going to have to break away from you because I've got children. I'm going to have children soon. And I'm not going to subject them to your lifestyle. I said, if you want to be able to be a mother and a grandmother, you're going to have to get off the drugs. And she said to me, she said, you just don't understand. You don't understand. I have to have these drugs. I have to take this medication. And in that moment, what I had suppressed for so long was the thought that she said that she chose an addiction over her son. That's the way I felt. She didn't mean to. She didn't mean to. But it had such a grip on her that she could not control it. And it controlled her life. And so, I would say probably 4 months later, we were still going to North Campus. It was after church on Wednesday night. Anna and I had went out to eat with Uncle Eddie and I think Zach and I think Ashley was in town, my cousins. And we were sitting there, we'd ordered our drinks, we were getting ready to eat, and Uncle Eddie got a phone call from Aunt Sherry. And she said, that my grandmother had called and they had found my mom on the couch and they think that pretty sure that she had passed away. And in that moment, I didn't know what to think, honestly. In a way, and this sounds awful, in a way I was a little bit relieved because I was trying so hard to mend that relationship and it would never mend. I couldn't do it, and I looked to God and I said, God, I needed you to change that relationship before she died, and you didn't. And he said, no, I didn't. But he said, I've always got you in my hands. I've got the plan and the purpose for you, and I want to tell every one of you, I want every one of you to look at me. It does not matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what your home life is. It doesn't matter how you've been abused. It doesn't matter how you've been treated. God has you in his hand. He's got a purpose. He's got a plan. Every single one of you has a destiny in this room. And if you will allow God, he will come into your life and he will change you. I mean, I've got a family. I've got a house. I've got everything I could ever wanted. Healing is a process. It didn't happen overnight. I still struggle with the fact that, I didn't have a mother most of my life. But the thing is, Jesus has me. And he said, you're mine. I've called you. I know your name. I can fill the void your mom left. I can fill any void that you have in your life. I want you guys to trust him. I want you guys to understand that he's real. That he's going to pick you up. He's going to love on you when you think nobody loves you. He's going to care about you when nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
When you're getting made fun of at school, he's there. When you're walking down the hall and you're tempted to take a couple pills out of your pocket, he's there. When you're at the party on Friday night, you shouldn't be there, by the way. But when you're at the party Friday night, he's there. He's walking right there beside you. Think about that. Every time you go somewhere, think about Jesus is with me. Whether I like it or not, he's there. He sees you. And he loves you in the midst of it. That's the amazing thing. He loves you. So I want you all to stand up right now. We're going to sing a song about the cross. And I just want everybody right here just to lift your hands to it. And I want you to repeat this prayer after me, okay? Everybody lift your hands and say, Jesus, I love you. I trust you. You are my rock. You are my salvation. And I will always, come on, say always, trust you with my life. You have a plan. You have a destiny. And I love you. In Jesus' name. Everybody said amen.